The starship Varelia glided silently through the inky darkness of space. Its hull shimmered under the distant light of a dying sun, a silver streak among the constellations. On board, a small delegation of the Zorathi, an alien species known for their strict control over physical contact, prepared to observe a new life form. They had traveled for months to reach a strange blue planet in a remote system. This planet, they had been told, was home to creatures called humans. Captain Elira, the leader of the delegation, floated in the observation deck, her large violet eyes scanning the holographic displays. "Sensors confirm a human presence," she said, her voice a careful hum. "The specimen is active and moving in the habitat zone." Her assistant, a smaller Zorathi named Finn, tilted his head, his antennae quivering. "Is it safe to approach?" he asked nervously. Elira's lips curved in a slight smile. "That is why we are here, Finn, to study, to learn. Humans are unpredictable. We must understand before we act." Meanwhile, on the planet below, the human in question, called Jacob, was unaware of the observation. He was performing a simple task, repairing a broken solar collector on the roof of his home. The sun warmed his back, and a gentle wind carried the scent of distant forests. He wiped sweat from his brow and muttered to himself, "Another day, another problem. Why can't these things just stay fixed?" Jacob had been part of an experimental program to test human adaptability in extreme conditions. He had spent years in isolated habitats, learning to survive with minimal technology. He didn't know it yet, but the aliens had been monitoring him for weeks. Every movement, every reaction, every heartbeat was being recorded and analyzed. Back on the Varelia, the Zorathi were about to make their first move. "We should initiate physical interaction," Finn suggested, though his voice carried uncertainty. Elira raised a hand. "Careful. Remember the reports. The human body reacts. We do not fully understand how or why. Approach slowly." With precise control, the observation drones descended through the atmosphere, invisible to Jacob. They hovered near him, scanning his body, taking minute samples of energy signatures, and measuring biological responses. Jacob paused mid-repair. He felt a strange tingling sensation along his arm, like a static charge. "Huh?" he murmured. "Am I imagining things?" The Zorathi sensors picked up an anomaly. Elira leaned closer to the display. "Notice, Finn. The human's biology is reacting to proximity, not just to touch. To presence itself. Fascinating." Finn's eyes widened. "It glows?" he whispered, staring at the readings. "Yes," Elira said, a hint of awe in her voice. "The human energy signature increases when in contact with certain stimuli. We have never seen this in other species." On the ground, Jacob reached to adjust a wire, brushing it against the metallic surface of the solar collector. A sudden warmth spread through his fingers and his muscles tightened unexpectedly. He stepped back, startled. "What the?" Above, Elira's antennae twitched with excitement. "It responds to touch," she exclaimed. "Physical contact. Triggers a response we cannot yet explain. Document everything. Every reaction must be recorded." Finn looked uneasy. Could it be dangerous? Elira shook her head. Dangerous? Perhaps, but also a marvel. A human can adapt, resist, and respond in ways our biology cannot. That is why we study them, to learn, to understand the potential. Jacob, meanwhile, felt a strange energy coursing through him. His vision sharpened for a moment and his muscles moved with unusual coordination. He noticed the solar collector's components aligning almost perfectly, as if his body instinctively knew how to repair them. "This is new," he muttered. "I've never done it like this before." In orbit, the Zorathi observers whispered among themselves. "It's not just touch," Finn said. "It's enhancement. The human body grows stronger when it responds to stimuli." Elira nodded, her mind racing. "Yes, this is why humans are extraordinary. Even the simplest contact triggers adaptation. If properly understood, this could revolutionize how life is studied, how life itself survives." Jacob had finished the repair, but he still felt the lingering sensation of energy. He shook his hands, laughing nervously. "Okay, that was weird. Definitely weird." The aliens continued their silent observation. They noted each heartbeat, each change in muscle tone, each surge of energy, and yet they dared not interfere directly. "Finn," Elira said, "we must be cautious. If we make contact too soon, we risk triggering an unpredictable reaction. We need patience. Observation first. Understanding second. Finn nodded but could not hide his curiosity. I want to see it. To touch it. Just to confirm. Illyra gave him a sharp look. Do not, we are scientists. We observe. Humans are reactive. Even their environment changes them. We are not ready for direct interaction. Jacob, feeling the lingering effects of the energy, looked around. He thought he saw a faint shimmer in the air, like heat rising from a metal surface. Am I losing my mind? He wondered aloud. In truth, the shimmer was the invisible drones recording every movement, every reaction, every adaptation. Jacob's senses, enhanced momentarily, detected their presence, though he couldn't identify it. His body hummed with energy he didn't understand. Interesting, Illyra whispered. Even without contact, proximity is enough. Their biology senses something beyond our comprehension. Remarkable. The rest of the day passed quietly. Jacob went about his usual tasks, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something watched him. His instincts told him he was not alone, though he could not pinpoint the source. Above, the Zarathi continued their careful study. Every detail was logged, every pattern recorded. They noted how Jacob's body responded to sunlight, to temperature changes, to minor physical effort, and with each observation, their understanding of humans grew. Illyra's mind wandered. Humans, they survive. They adapt. They respond. Our scientists have never encountered a species that can react so instinctively to stimuli and grow stronger for it. Perhaps this is why they dominate their world. Finn shivered. It almost feels unfair, he said. Like they are more than us, Illyra smiled faintly. Exactly. That is what makes humans remarkable. Not their technology, not their weapons, not their numbers, but their biology. Their very being is a tool of survival and adaptation. We study them, yes, but we must also respect them. They are extraordinary. Night fell on the human settlement. Jacob lay in his bed, restless. The tingling in his body had faded, but a subtle awareness lingered, like he had sensed something beyond the ordinary world. He closed his eyes and drifted into sleep, unaware of the violet eyes watching him from orbit. The Zarathi were silent but alert. Tomorrow, Illyra whispered, we begin the next phase of observation. We will test how the human responds to environmental stress. Not contact, yet we must wait. Patience is key. As the stars shone above, the first chapter of human-alien interaction was already unfolding. A single human on a distant planet, unaware of the marvel he carried within him, and a delegation of aliens who were about to learn that humans were unlike anything they had ever seen. The morning sun spilled across the quiet village where Jacob lived, casting golden light on the rooftops and fields below. Birds chirped in the distance, and a soft breeze carried the scent of earth and blooming flowers. To any ordinary observer, it was a peaceful day. But Jacob would soon discover that peace could be deceptive. Above him, the Zorathi starship Virilia orbited silently, hidden among the clouds and the thin upper atmosphere. Illyra and her team had decided to advance their study. The first phase of observation had confirmed something extraordinary. Jacob's body reacted to stimuli in ways no alien species had ever shown. Now they wanted to explore how far this adaptability could go without causing harm. Illyra hovered over the holographic displays, studying Jacob's activity. Finn, she said, her voice calm but tense. It is time to begin controlled environmental tests. We will not touch him directly. We will manipulate his surroundings and observe the response. This is where humans differ from all other species. Their biology thrives under challenge. Finn's antennae twitched nervously. But will he notice? Illyra's violet eyes glimmered. Perhaps, but he will not understand why. That is acceptable. All knowledge of the human's potential comes from adaptation under real conditions. On the ground, Jacob had started his morning routine. After breakfast, he went to check the water filtration unit outside his home. The pipes were old, and water flow had been inconsistent for days. As he worked, he felt the faint tingling again, similar to the sensation from yesterday. It was subtle, but enough to make him glance around, wondering if something was watching. Unseen, the Virilia adjusted environmental drones. A small gust of artificial wind pushed against Jacob as he lifted a pipe. The temperature near him shifted slightly, a barely perceptible change, yet his muscles tensed instinctively, ready to react. Jacob frowned. Weird. Feels different today, like I can sense the air. He shook his head, attributing it to fatigue. Above, Elira and Finn monitored every heartbeat, every micro-movement, every small chemical change in Jacob's body. Notice the increase in oxygen intake, Elira said softly. The human adapts instantly to the changing conditions. Every minor challenge triggers a measurable improvement in performance. Finn studied the data, wide-eyed. Even for something as small as a gust of wind? Yes, Elira replied. To us, it is insignificant. To the human, it is an opportunity for adaptation. Incredible. Jacob continued his work, adjusting pipes and checking valves. With each movement, he felt a strange clarity in his mind. He could anticipate the weight of the tools before picking them up. His hands seemed more coordinated, his reflexes sharper. What is happening to me? He muttered, still unaware of the alien presence. The Zarathi were fascinated. It is more than strength or speed, Elira said. The human anticipates and adjusts automatically. They do not need instruction. They learn instantly through experience, even subtle experience. Finn leaned closer. Could it be instinct or something more? Elira's expression was thoughtful. It is biology enhanced by adaptation. They do not rely on memory or training alone. Their body and mind react as one, growing stronger with every minor stimulus. That is why they survive. That is why they dominate their world despite limited technology. Later that day, Elira decided to increase the complexity of their test. In a nearby forest, drones simulated subtle obstacles, moving branches, small changes in ground texture, a sudden drop in light. Jacob, deciding to gather firewood, walked into the forest, unknowingly stepping into the test zone. Immediately, his body responded. He adjusted his steps on uneven terrain without thinking. He caught himself as a low branch swung toward him, ducking instinctively. Every movement was faster, smoother, more precise. Jacob stopped for a moment, amazed. How did I? That was like automatic. The Zarathi were elated. See, Finn? Elira said, pointing at the holographic readouts. Even without direct interaction, the human adapts to environmental stress. Their biology improves performance through challenge. This is evolutionary perfection in action. Finn shook his head in disbelief. It almost feels unnatural. Elira smiled faintly. It is natural but rare. Nothing we have encountered behaves like this. Humans are extraordinary. As Jacob moved deeper into the forest, he found a fallen tree blocking his path. He paused, assessing how to cross it. His mind and body worked together seamlessly, balancing, adjusting muscle tension, and estimating weight distribution. He crossed the obstacle without effort, almost as if he had done it 1,000 times before. Meanwhile, the Virelia recorded every micro-reaction. The alignment of muscles, the micro-adjustments in balance, even subtle shifts in brainwave activity. Document everything, Elira instructed. Every reaction is data. Every adaptation is proof of their potential. Finn frowned. Do you think he realizes this is a test? Elira shook her head. No. Humans are focused on immediate problems. They do not analyze their biology consciously. They simply respond. Jacob, still unaware of the observation, continued collecting firewood. But with each task he felt stronger, faster, and more precise. His senses seemed heightened. He could hear distant birds, sense changes in wind direction, and detect the subtle vibrations in the forest floor. He stopped for a moment, breathing deeply. It's like I can feel everything around me. Not just see it, feel it. Elira's eyes glimmered. Fascinating. Human sensory perception expands under environmental stress. Their biology is reactive and integrative. They become more than the sum of their parts. Back on the ship, Finn looked uneasy. But what if he encounters danger? A predator, or an accident? Elira remained calm. We observe. We do not interfere unless necessary. Humans are survivors. They instinctively handle situations we would struggle to predict. That is the point. We are studying the peak of adaptability. Below, Jacob's instincts were tested further. A small predator, a fox-like creature, appeared, curious about his presence. Instinctively, Jacob froze, then stepped aside just as it dashed past him. No harm was done, yet his body had responded faster than thought. Jacob exhaled, realizing how quickly he reacted. I didn't even think about it. My body just knew. The Zarathi were amazed. Predictive adaptation, Elira whispered. The human anticipates events before conscious thought. Their body is a living algorithm of survival. We are witnessing evolutionary genius. As evening approached, Jacob returned home with a pile of firewood. He felt a strange satisfaction, as if his body had learned something new and retained it without effort. His muscles felt tired but alive, his mind sharp and his senses alert. He glanced at the sky, sensing a faint shimmer of light he could not explain. Something's watching, he murmured, frowning. I don't know why I feel that. Above, Elira and Finn reviewed the day's data. They are aware of us, in a sense, Finn said. Yes, Elira said. They sense energy, presence, yet they cannot identify it. This adds another layer to their adaptability. Humans react not only to physical stimuli but to unseen forces as well. Incredible. Finn shook his head. They're beyond anything we imagined. Elira's expression softened. Indeed, and this is only the beginning. Tomorrow we will introduce controlled stress, environmental variables more extreme. We will observe how the human adapts under pressure. This will reveal the full extent of their biological potential. Jacob lay down that night, still puzzled by the odd tingling and the unexplainable feeling of being watched. Sleep came slowly, filled with strange dreams of movement, energy, and awareness. Above, the Viralia glimmered in orbit, a silent observer of a remarkable species. The first day of testing had revealed only a fraction of human potential, but it was enough to convince the Zarathi humans were unlike anything in the galaxy. And as the stars rotated overhead, one truth became clear. Humans thrived not because of tools or weapons, but because of themselves, their bodies, their minds, their instinctive genius.